Here are several of York's more impressive houses, many of them dating back to the Georgian era. What were large family homes on the right are now hotels or other businesses. At the top of the hill, on the left, is the Mount School, one of 2 Quaker schools in York. The city has a long Quaker tradition, and both the Rowntrees and Chooks of chocolate fame were prominent members of the Quaker community. As we approach the city along the mount, you may see York Minster straight ahead. At least you will, as long as the weather is fine and the trees don't obstruct your view. The Minster and the city walls are constructed of Magnesian limestone from the Tadcaster area, which was brought to York by river. If you want to see Micklegate Bar, please get off at our next stop, which is the Odeon Cinema. This road has always been busy, even in the late 1800s, when the horse-drawn trams ran along the centre of it. The rails were laid in stone sets, and these provided a better surface than the rest of the road. So there were plenty of arguments as other traffic tried to use them to obtain a smoother ride. The carts and carriages still had to get out of the way when a tram passed by. In Blossom Street on the left, we pass the Odeon Cinema, which is a listed building in the Art Deco style, popular in the 1930s. South Parade on the right is a well-preserved row of Georgian townhouses. At the end of Blossom Street is Micklegate Bar, which is the principal entrance to York. Every English monarch, except Henry VIII, who came via Fulford, and Victoria, who didn't even leave the railway station, enters York through Micklegate Bar. Even when our present Queen visits us by train, she does us the courtesy of coming round to Micklegate Bar to seek the Lord Mayor's consent to enter the city. The Lord Mayor wouldn't dare refuse, of course. Micklegate Bar just happens to be the place where traitors' heads were skewered and displayed on poles after their executions. This We next come to Queen Street and Station Road, and the centre of York's railway industry. The first train left in 1839 from a temporary platform just to the left of the bridge, where the car park is today. On the right, the 2 arches in the city walls were made to allow trains to reach the old station, which was opened in 1841. It wasn't long before the need for every train to reverse at York became a problem. So the North Eastern Railway built the magnificent new station on the left. When this opened in 1877, it was the largest station in Britain. In the 1840s, the train took 14 hours to get to London. The journey now takes less than 2 hours, and trains run between York and London about every 30 minutes.
No, we're not going anywhere.
On the left-hand side is the North Eastern Railway's Station Hotel. Most of the old railway companies built luxury hotels next to their main stations, and this one was opened in 1879. It is no longer owned by the railway, but still includes the name Royal in its name, although no member of the royal family has stayed there. Queen Victoria did once stop at the old station in September 1854. She was on her way to Balmoral with Prince Albert and 5 of their children, and, as all trains did in those days, stopped in York for lunch. The story goes that she was not amused when members of the public gathered to wave at them, was even less happy when presented with a bill for lunch, and left vowing never to return, and indeed she never did come back. On the right-hand side of the road, just past the station, there are 20 gravestones. York was a crowded and unhealthy place to live in 1832, when an outbreak of cholera killed 185 people. An extra burial ground was opened here because there wasn't enough room in the churchyards. York is the home of the National Railway Museum, which is housed in the former locomotive and goods depots in Lehman Road. The museum has won many awards for its displays. It contains many exhibits, including full-size trains, and tells the story of the railways from the early days until today. Be warned, there is so much to see that you could spend all day there. We don't call it the museum because a low bridge stops us from getting there, but it's only a short walk from our Memorial Garden stop.